discussion or questions until 7. You can find these weekly meetings on our YouTube page, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Doylestown. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share. Okay. That brings us to the speaker portion of the meeting on this day, Monday, February 12, 2024, in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, at the Monday night 6 p.m. Stay Alive Literature and Step Group at St. Paul's Lutheran Church. Tonight's speaker is Donnie. He's an excellent bowler. He'll be sharing his experience on Step 12. Please help us welcome Donnie.
Hi, my name's Donnie. I'm an alcoholic.
Donnie!
Just so you know, I'm terrible at these things, but a good friend asked me this morning, and he also taught me to never say no, just say yes in this program. So I said yes, and then went to work, and then tried to think of something to say, and just blank. So
Perfect.
Because I have the, legendary alcoholic mind where it's basically like squirrel, and then I go off and, I'm out there in left field and then going down rabbit holes and all that good stuff. So that's what I struggle with on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, if you will. But here's my story. So my story is pretty unexciting. I basically was drinking for the last 30 years and never stopped, and never got in trouble, never went to jail, never went to rehab, none of that stuff. Somehow, I want to say by the grace of God, I never got in trouble. I was able to, go to work, hold a job, then go and drink all night long, and be able to pass out at a reasonable time and wake up the next morning and drive drunk to work and, repeat every day. Except the weekends, then I'd wake up and then go drink all day and pass out and, do it the next day. And I was able to survive for almost 30 years. It was pretty crazy. I had so many close calls, driving, realizing how drunk I was one time. I was about to black out, and I knew I was about to black out, so I pulled over into Wawa, thinking, oh, this is a great idea. And then I blacked out and passed out in my driver's seat, seatbelt on, engine on. Woke up 3 hours later to red and blues behind me. I said, okay, finally, this is it. I'm going. It was almost like a sense of relief. Like, if they're going to take me to jail, I'm going to get a break. And they were given a DUI, but not to me. It was the guy literally right next to me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I got out of my car, went into Wawa, then I went right outside the other door of Wawa and sat at the bank for a couple hours till they did their thing. I was like, man. I guess in the end I was just like wanted to get caught. I just needed that separation. I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know what AA was. Never had any experience with it. Didn't really know anyone who went through AA. Knew plenty of alcoholics, but they all remain alcoholics till this day, as I know. Yeah, it's pretty uneventful. Married, divorced, all through alcoholism. A lot of that had to do with my alcoholism and not knowing how to treat it. And, my significant other at the time, she didn't know what to do. And, I don't blame her for any of that. We separated on, decent terms, I guess. She left me for another man, which was, I didn't blame her. I wasn't there. I wasn't present at all. Even then I was a little mad. I can't say I wasn't that mad, but, I pretty much let her go. I did not fight for her. I just didn't care about anything. I didn't care about myself. Nothing. Didn't care about family. And that's probably my biggest regret about all the time loss was with family. Because I never did anything that was super crazy. I didn't kill my sister or, hit anybody or, I wasn't a terrible person. I was just never present for anyone. You know, birthdays, holidays, it was always more important to go get drunk. You know, if there wasn't going to be booze there, 9 times out of 10, I was not going to be there. You know, if I couldn't bring booze there, then heck no, I'm not going to go. And that's all I cared about. Until I found the rooms. And I'm just going to move into sobriety because I have a lot more to talk about there because it's been a lot more exciting. So coming in the rooms, you know, I knew as an alcoholic, so, you know, it's a step meeting, so we'll start going through the steps that I went through. And we're focusing on 12, I know, but my sobriety date is January 27th, 2023. So you're probably asking yourself, why is a guy with just 1 year of sobriety speaking on the 12th step? And I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
You're doing it.
But I love AA. I love the program. I love the steps. I've been through the steps. I just got to 12, so this is probably exactly what I need, to be honest with you. It's been a little while since I've spoke because I kind of cower from it because I'm not the greatest speaker. But coming in the rooms, I was definitely an alcoholic. I knew I was an alcoholic, so I was like, boom, I got number 1 down. Like, I've known I've been an alcoholic for the last 20 years. I just didn't care, you know. And now I do care because what got me in the rooms was that spiritual malady, which at the time I did not know what it was, but I knew something was missing. And my last go around, it was I was just drinking at the bar, and I had a little bit of sobriety before that, but it was white knuckle sobriety. It was no program, no nothing, and I could just feel something empty inside me. I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what, and nothing exterior was wrong. You know, had a job, had a girl, had, you know, a place to live, had a car. Everything was met, but something was missing. I was just like angry. I was depressed. I didn't know what was going on. So finally, like at the end, it was very dark. You know, I just felt the presence of death around me. Again, like still didn't care if I lived or died. Never, you know, attempted suicide, but I wouldn't have cared if I, you know, got drunk and walked in the middle of the road, got hit by a car. I'd probably, you know, feel relieved. So after feeling that, darkness, going in the rooms was exciting. That's the first word that comes to mind because it was the first time it was like, I'm not alone. And we is mentioned in the steps throughout, and we is a very important word because when you come into this program, it's all about us now. It's not about just me, which I don't know. It's crazy. I'm not the center of the universe, but that's part of the spiritual awakening we're going through. So it was shocking to know that we all kind of think alike. We're all kind of screwed up in the same way. We all can't have that first drink, otherwise it's going to go downhill. And it might be a little bit different for each of us, but we're all going down fast. So moving on, it was when I came in the rooms, everyone was very welcoming. I was able to find a sponsor, and he was able to take me through the steps. 1, 2, and 3 were pretty flat out. I was very agnostic going in, so I knew there was something out there. I just did not know what. So when I read "We Agnostics" in the big book, it was like, get out of my head. That's crazy. Like it's like we were just reading it at a big book study last week and finished it up, and it still just rings so true. Everything in that book, it was just, I could not believe that was written 80 years ago, and it was like they were in my head completely. So I encourage anyone new to go through that if you're struggling with with spirituality at all. It kind of sets the guidelines, and it's pretty great stuff. Anyway, went through 4, had a little bit of trouble getting started, procrastinated like a lot of us do, but I was able to get that done, and that was a big sigh of relief. But that wasn't it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, because everyone, was so scared of 4, and then I was scared of 4, and I was procrastinating, and then I got it done, and I was waiting for this aha moment, this white light, this coming to Jesus moment, if you will, and it didn't happen for me. So I was a little bit disappointed. And 5, 6, 7, it's kind of it's real fast. You go through it. But 6 and 7, don't screw that up, because I did. Yeah, this alcoholic. So you go, you meditate, and you pray, and you talk to God. Well, I just sat there and I just read the 12 and 12 on 6 and 7, and totally just didn't do it. And then I realized, when like my whole week was terrible, I didn't know what was going on, I realized that I actually did not do 6 and 7. So I had to go back and redo 6 and 7. So if you're at that point, don't skip that, because it's very important. It ruins everything. But then I made my amends. I just got done doing that. Went down for the holiday and did my amends tour. My family is spread out. I'm jumping around here a little bit, sorry. My parents were divorced when I started drinking. I'd love to blame that on my drinking, but that's not. I was just an alcoholic. That's why I drink. So my parents were divorced, and they ended up moving after I graduated high school. Down south, my mom in South Carolina, dad in Florida. So my men's tour was going to Baltimore, that's where I'm from, making amends to my sister, then going down to South Carolina, making amends to my mom, then going down to Florida, making amends to my dad, and then flying back home, which I got to do all of that, which was pretty amazing. Unfortunately, I didn't have too much time with my sister, so that was kind of short, but she's in Baltimore, so I can go there and revisit that. Went down, saw my mom. That was probably the biggest one, the one when she was like, oh, she had no idea how much I was drinking. I'm like, how could you not tell? Like, and then she looked at me and she said, you mean it's not my fault? And that was huge, because when we're doing these amends, it's for them. And then that's when it clicked for me. It was like, oh my God, it's for them. It's not for us. And it's like, wow, light bulb, slow learner, sorry. But it was pretty amazing. My brother suffers from alcoholism as well. And when I went down to make my amends to my dad, my brother was down there, and I had some amends to make with him. He is a dry drunk right now, unfortunately, and it was very obvious that he was, because he could not hold his temper, he could not control his emotions, he has no higher power to lean on, and it was very sad. Because obviously that's my big brother. He's super smart, super intelligent, and if I could just get him into the rooms, he knows about AA. If I could get him to stick, that would be amazing. I think it would help him out tremendously. But anyway, down in Florida with my dad with the amends. It was so bad, like he lost his temper. He's yelling at my dad. My dad's, pushing 80s, had both his lungs replaced, just had heart surgery, and he's like screaming at my dad like my dad's like 40 again. And it was disturbing, to say the least. But we got through it, and he ended up leaving that night, and I explained to my father what he was going through and how the program had worked for me, where I was emotionally. And that actually turned out to be the amends, and it was beautiful, and he couldn't be happier for me. And it worked out well. So now I'm in charge of everything when he dies, which is great. But it's a blessing, and I can finally be present, and that's a beautiful thing. Through these steps, we have our spirituality grows. I was hoping so much for it to be the white light experience when it's like, boom, it's there. Like I was even thinking my alcoholic mind, maybe some LSD or shrooms that would get me there a little faster. You know, that's not a good idea. Don't do that. But I also realized that I did that so much before that if it was going to be done, it would have happened already. So not happening that way. So it was slow, it was gradual, it was a learning process, and it continues to grow. I don't believe I'm all the way there. I don't think I'll ever be all the way there. I don't think it comes and it stays. I think it comes and goes. At least that's my experience. It comes in waves, so you have to work at it. And that's where, 11, the prayer and meditation comes in. I'm terrible at meditation, decent at prayer. Every time something good happens to me, whether it's I make a green light or whatever small, I thank God for it immediately. Every day, all day. It's just what I do now. Something bad happens, it was meant to be. And that's all it is. So now we're moving on to 12, which I just got here. But it's 12 is a beautiful one because coming in the rooms, you think, and this wasn't too long ago for me, it was like, I'll never make it to 12. There's no way I'm going to get through all these. There's absolutely no way. It's crazy. And then you look at 12 and it's like having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. And I'm like, there's no way I can do this. But it happened. And I can't tell you exactly when that spiritual awakening happened. It wasn't, again, that aha moment. But I remember when the obsession was lifted, probably 3 months after, 3 months when I was in the program. I realized I was driving home and I didn't have that obsession. I didn't want to stop at the bar. I didn't want to drink. And I was astonished. And I think that's when it started. It's because that in itself was a miracle. I mean, I live across the street from a bar where I could literally walk there. Luckily, that closed down. Coincidence? I think not. But, so that's when the spiritual awakening happened. I also know I have to work for it. I knew, being agnostic, I knew that was not going to come easy for me. I mean, nothing really comes easy for me. I do have to work at everything very hard to accomplish anything. But that in particular, I knew was going to be a challenge for me. So the spiritual awakening helped everything. It helped change my thought process, which in the beginning I let you know that thinking is my problem, not drinking. And that's why I keep coming back. It's for my thinking. I'm sure you've heard that before. I've also gone on some Emmett Fox retreats. Actually, I have one coming up this weekend, and that's not AA. It's not AA sanctioned, but Emmett Fox was around when Bill and Bob were doing their thing. And a lot of it has to do with, your thought process and how you view religion or how you view spirituality. And it breaks it down into a beautiful way to understand and to grow and, set goals and to be positive. And that's a big one for me because I always go down the rabbit holes when I get, squirrel and I'm going down. To be by myself is just depressing. I need to be lifted up something needs to lift me up. That's where my higher power comes in. That's where, these retreats come in. That's where you come into the meetings. I don't know when anyone, you're coming around enough, and every time you go to a meeting, you feel a little bit better afterwards. That's me, every time. Especially the ones I don't want to go to. Like this one. I feel better afterwards, 110%. No, I'm just kidding. Go anywhere with Nick. And it's exciting, and that lifts my spirits. That lifts everything about it. I love going to, outside of our normal, home groups or routine groups. Sometimes we go to Jersey and we'll speak out there, and sometimes, just go on a little adventure. It's fun. It's good stuff. It's all good stuff. But the daunting one with step 12 is, this step never ends, does it? Now we'll be doing this step when we're in the grave, trying to go up. And you better not stop then, right? So step 12, it's a beautiful one, but it's also a little daunting for me, because this is where a lot of people kind of sputter out. They get scared. I just started sponsoring people. It's been a whole month. I know. All that experience. They're still okay.
That's good.
So that's scary, but that is, you always hear guys say that's when they see God speaking to them. I see God everywhere now. I see him, in nature. I see him through people. I just see, before I was so focused on the negative, and now I'm just focused on the positive. And that's the way to live life for me, because I just want to be happy. I want to live a happy life as long as he gives me. And that's all I can ask for. It's pretty simple life. But working with other guys and just giving them an outlet so they can speak and starting to take them through the steps, you can already see the light in their eye. You can already see their spirit getting lifted. And you can just, God's there, even though they don't know yet. You just kind of chuckle to yourself. I can't wait till they get there, And you straight up start falling in love with these guys, not like that, you know what I mean? And it's a great thing. I love these guys. And, totally different backgrounds and all that, but it doesn't matter. It's just, working with your fellow people. And it's crazy because I used to hate people. I hated them. I'd go to the bar and, if you didn't know me, you wouldn't know me, because I probably wouldn't talk to you unless I was feeling drunk. And then I'd start talking, but then I wouldn't even remember you. So it didn't matter. But now it's, I look for people, and I look to help people. And people who are flawed or angry, I know there's a reason there. And I know, well, hopefully I could help some way. And that's, again, what this program is all about. And that's just hopefully what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. Oh my gosh. And I think, my friends, I'm done torturing you. My name is Donnie. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you very much.
Okay, please limit your sharing to 3 minutes. Please keep your shares related to the step if possible. If you feel like drinking, or if you had a drink today, please see me or speak to somebody after the meeting. We ask you, please refrain from the use of profanity. We are in a church and on a spiritual journey. And the floor is now open for sharing.